What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel and more bolt action scenario reviews here as we near the end of the original 12 missions from the main rulebook here. So again, this is the latter half, and these are all the attacker defender scenarios. So today we have a fun one, Surrounded, and as you might guess, it is a scenario here where you're basically, the defender is going to be holed up in the middle, and they're just going to have to weather the storm as the attacker will do their best to annihilate that pocket, basically. So, fun quote there from Dick Winters, right? So we're paratroopers, we're meant to be surrounded. So, fun stuff here. And there's a lot of variations we can do on this mission, but let's get into it. Both players roll a die. Highest player decides whether they're attacker or defender. Defender picks a side of the table and sets up half their units rounding down within 12 of the center, as we saw in the map. These units can be hidden, or actually can use the hidden setup rules, which is pretty cool there as well. Gives the defender a little bit more survivability against sort of some alpha strikes that the attacker might launch. All of the units are left in reserve, and the attacker's units are not set up on the table. They'll basically have half their units, and those will walk in on the first wave, and then everything is in reserve. So we've seen that quite a bit. Again, so the defender will actually have a table edge for their reserves. It's just a lot of their stuff will set up in the center. So the objective is simple. Basically, just one side is trying to destroy the other. This one does feature the Preparatory Bombardment, so again, that can be pretty rough on the defender if it goes off, so the attacker does get that. The first turn, the battle begins. During turn 1, the attacker must bring their first wave onto the table, so basically run or advance, and no order is required for that as normal, as we've so often seen. And then the other half of the mission here, so kind of covering the other details and victory conditions here. So they throw in this new rule here, confused fight. So battle lines basically become completely blurred. So reinforcements coming from all directions. So all units entering the table edge as reserves actually can enter from any point on any table edge except the one from which the last enemy reserve entered that same turn. So this will lead to a little bit of strategy there too. So depending on whose turn it is to bring something in, you might, depending on the state of the game, terrain and all that stuff, you might choose an edge where it won't necessarily be the best benefit for you, but could be where your opponent would be, or have the most advantage from coming out on that edge, just to deny them that edge for that turn and kind of go from there. So this means that at the beginning of the following turn, the first reserve can come in from any table edge. So basically, whoever pulls that first die has the best choice, and then after that, you just kind of have to go around and around and place your reserves sort of strategically. So again, just if it makes sense to deny the opponent that edge for a few activations, essentially, then that could pay off down the road as well. So if you have to make the opponent's reserve come in from an area where it's not so advantageous, that can help you out, certainly. So normal turn length here, so 6 turns, then roll for the potential extra turn. So certainly as a defender, I think you would want things to end as soon as possible in a lot of the cases. And then victory conditions on this one. So basically kill points. So if you score 2 more victory points than the other side, you have a clear victory. Otherwise it's a draw. And very simple. So 1 point for every unit destroyed. There's no bonuses for any types of units or anything like that, although you could certainly throw that in there, as we saw in some of the earlier scenarios, so certain things being worth more. Again, this one plays very differently if you start adding in things like nighttime, weather, and all that stuff, but again, really adds to the intensity. And aside from that, you could also vary the area a little bit that the defender has to set up in, and work on other sort of deployment shenanigans if you want to, again, spice things up a little bit there. Could be interesting too, where the defenders are all set up, but maybe the attacker has lots and lots of armor that they're trying to bring in, or like a more mechanized force, and just force the defender to deal with things like that, and sort of really put the pressure on. So it could be, again, something like like an airborne force that has maybe limited anti-tank capability, and then they just have to hold out for a certain amount of time before they really can actually get any solid relief. So you could also put a variation on this where maybe the defenders again try to break out a little bit and try to get to a more of a board edge or something else along those lines. And again, you can mix and match components from other missions. You could take like take out a VIP from one of the missions. So throw in like an extra bonus point for taking out an enemy commander or highest ranking officer. Throw in something where maybe there is some sort of other secondary objective that would be worth some points as well. So maybe the defenders do have some sort of secret documents or orders or something like that, and that the attackers could instantly score that as well. So again, you can mix and match a little bit just if the mission does ever get sort of routine for you guys. But a fun one to play certainly, and also if time allows to play sort of back to back, and whoever is defender in the first time switched around and have another go at it and just swap roles just to allow both players to really have an opportunity to play both versions or both sides of the scenario. So let us know in the comments, though, guys, what your successes and failures have been in Surrounded, whether you enjoy the scenario or not, things that you would change or things that you've done to vary the scenario a little bit. So hope you guys enjoyed. Again, hit us up in the comments. Always fun to see what you guys have going on for your games. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we will see you guys in the next one, and that'll be the final one for this series. Take care.